everyone, my name is Sam and thanks for checking out this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell notification, and give the video a thumbs up. So I wanted to tell you guys about all of the books that I'm going to attempt to get to in the month of November. It literally, as of November 1st, dropped a bunch of snow on us. So I don't think I'm going to have to do quite as much, cannot do quite as much traveling as I was doing in the couple months before, which was really slowing down my reading. So I think I can actually get through the majority of these, if not all of them, and I wanted to tell you about them. So the first book that I want to read this month is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Yang. I think that's how you say her last name. This is a debut work, however, it was on everyone's most anticipated list that I know of for this year. I will say though, just before even, just be aware going into it, there are several trigger warnings. If you want to go see the full list, you can go over to Goodreads. But the big ones that, and I kind of assumed it was going to be in there just based on the summary, but there is a trigger warning for animal abuse and sexual abuse, so just be aware of that. That being said, the author is also going to do a virtual visit in the TBR and Beyond group, so I'm really curious about that. But the summary alone is what really piqued my interest, and everyone I know who's gotten an ARC absolutely loved it. They were all just be aware there's triggers for it, but it's so good. Just be ready for that. It's at the beginning, but it gets so good, and it's just good. But essentially, literally the blurb was two female concubines of this one king fall in love with each other and then go to kill the king. And I'm all here for that summary. I'm sure there's more to it, but that's literally all I know about that going into it, and I'm excited for it. I also plan on getting to The Light Between Worlds by Laura E. Weymouth. This book it's so pretty in person, but a lot of it's the same color contrast, so it's kind of hard to show on camera. But this is a Narnia-inspired-y fantasy. I'm actually reading it, in the middle of reading it right now, so I can tell you it's giving me, it's been a while, and I could be totally wrong. I'm only in the first third of the book, but it's giving me, the Cruel Prince-y kind of vibes combined with Narnia vibes, which I'm kind of here for. I'm really enjoying it, and the writing is really perfect for my taste. So if you like it's a historical fiction with parallel worlds, and the main character is a female. She's kind of going against the grain a little bit, but she has really supportive family, and there's just chaos between the two worlds, especially in the fairy-ish world. So really enjoying that, so I'd highly recommend it. This author's also going to be in the TBR and Beyond group doing a virtual visit, I think in December. You'll have to check the TBR group for the schedule for sure, but definitely give it a read. I'm really enjoying it, and she's a Canadian author too, which is always great. I also plan on reading For a Muse of Fire by Heidi Heelig, and this is the new series. This is the same author who wrote The Girl from Everywhere, which I absolutely loved that duology so much, so I'm really curious. She's kind of an auto-author for me right now, but it follows our main female character. It's supposed to be French colonialism combined with Asian mythology and vibes and settings, which is what really piqued my interest, especially the history person in my brain. But it follows her main character. She's a controller of shadows and a puppeteer in this traveling circus, but I guess that magic skill that she has is either highly sought after and people are trying to kill her or kidnap her, or it's illegal and so she shouldn't be doing it and they have to try and hide it, and there's hidden lineage and all that kind of drama. So I'm really curious about this. I'm assuming there's also dragons involved based on the cover, which also really excited for. We've established my interest and love of dragons. So yeah, really curious about this one. I also plan on getting a reread of A Touch of Gold done by Annie Sullivan. This is another author that's going to be in the TBR Beyond group this month. Yeah, in November, I think. And it is a King Midas retelling, and I read it before and thoroughly enjoyed it, but don't forget, there's King Midas retelling with his daughter, but then, wait for it, there's pirates. I love pirates. It's like dragons for me. It's like crack, okay? I can't deal with a book that had surprise. I get excited about a book knowing that there's pirates, but when I get sneak surprised of oh, by the way, there is pirates in here, I just didn't tell you, I lose my mind in excitement. And so I'm giving it a reread. I think I read it about 2 months ago, but now the author's coming, so I gotta refresh my memory of it. And there's a little bit of a star-crossed lovers romance triangle betrayal thing that I'm all here for too. So very excited to reread this. I also plan on reading Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. This will basically complete my it will complete my reread of the Throne of Glass series. And I was originally going to be okay, finish this, and then immediately picked up Kingdom of Ash. However, I own Kingdom of Ash now because I'm trash for Maas, and I bought that on opening day, you better believe. But I have heard every single person who read that book say they actually actively cried for the majority of the like 1,000 pages. And I don't think I can emotionally handle a book like that and having to constantly put it down to like go to work and whatever. So I have most of December off. So I'm going to do it in December when I have the ability to like cry in my basement for 3 days without interruption. So Tower of Dawn, then going to take like probably a month-ish pause before jumping into the chaos that is going to be Kingdom of Ash. On my heart, at least, it's going to be chaos. So I actually don't hate Chaos. I seem to be one of the few people, so I'm really excited to give this one a reread. Then I'm going to finally read Rosemarked by Olivia Blackburn. The sequel for this comes out in November, I believe. I think it's called Umber Touched, and it has the same cover theme, which is part of my love for this series, like the watercolor paint look of it. I'm so here for it. I've heard particularly very good things of like the actual construction and writing of this story. Not a lot of like, oh, it's so unique. It seems like pretty stereotypically YA. There is this magical kingdom, and then there's this thing called like the Rose Plague, and it kills people. It sounds like just like the Black Plague basically. And there's a healer in this. It sounds like that's the POV, and she's a healer for everyone else, but she gets the Rose Plague, I guess. And then there's this like Kingdom Knight guy, and then they have to like, there's a spy and conspiracy and all that drama. I'm here for it. It sounds like it uses a lot of plots and tropes that I thoroughly enjoy, and that cover though. Since I finally got my copy of the Iron Flower at the very, very end of October, it'll be in my November haul, I am going to do my reread of The Black Witch now. I've read the Iron Flower arc, but just in case there was changes, I have to read it again. So I'm going to kind of reread the sequel, or the prequel books to it. So I'm going to start with Wand Fasted this month, and then I'm also going to pick up The Black Witch to do another reread, because I mean, I've only read the book like 7 times in the last 12 months. Why not just one more time? But just a world of fantasy, magic, racism, sexism, homophobia, and political chaos that unfortunately, very conveniently, mirrors a lot of aspects of our world, definitely by accident. Early on in the month, I'm also going to pick up Say You'll Remember Me by Katie McGarry, and you may wonder, hey, I'm pretty sure, I've only watched a couple of this girl's videos, but I'm fairly sure she hates contemporaries. You would be correct. There's a couple, like, exemptions from the rule, like Crazy Rotations or Heretics Anonymous, but I convinced my friend to watch a BTS music video, and she has since fallen down the BTS music video, just BTS rabbit hole in general. But that was part of the deal of, if she watches BTS, then I will give an attempt at a contemporary book that I know she liked. So she told me to read this one, so I'm gonna give it a chance. I don't have super high expectations. Not because the book is bad, it's just not generally to my tastes. But I know that it's a contemporary. There's an underprivileged guy who was like wrongly convicted and went to prison for something he didn't do, and he's out on like some government second chance program, and then he meets the senator's daughter, and that senator is the guy who is in charge of the second chance program, and I'm assuming there's a romance there. My friend said there's a little bit of mystery to it as well, so that was why she thought I might be able to get through it. So we're going to try. Don't have high expectations, so therefore it'll either meet those low expectations or go above and beyond them. So really, I'm being generous, and I want to get it done earlier on in the month just so I can get it done, rather than being like, oh, I'll just do it at the end, and then being like, oh, I ran out of time, because I said I would read it, so I'm gonna read it. I really, really hope to get to The Caged Queen this month by Kristen Cicerelli. This is the companion to The Last Namsara, which is the second book in, yeah, this is the second book in the Iskari series. Love the covers of this series. They're so good. But also, Kristen Cicerelli is a Canadian author, and she actually did tour dates in Canada, which authors just don't do. I mean, she does live in Canada, but still, like, she's doing some in the US too. Like, she acknowledges that there's a border and goes across it. Imagine that. Okay, pettiness is, you know, that's a whole rant for another day. But I actually haven't even read this, the story to this. I just knew that it was going to be, or the summary to this, because I knew it was going to be a companion, so it's not going to be a direct continuation of it. But I knew I wanted to read it anyway, so I'm going in blind on this one. And oh, it's just so pretty. It's all metallic-y and like the cover theme, and they look so nice on the shelf beside each other. It just looks so pretty and crisp and clean, and oh, so pretty. I'm also doing another reread of Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend, because the sequel, Wondersmith, well, it came out like, I think last week in the UK and Australia, but it comes out in like 2 weeks in North America here, and I am so freaking excited. I already have my UK cover ordered and my North American copy ordered. I also own the UK and the North American of the first book, as well as the German one. No, I cannot speak German. I know Dankeschön, but that's about it. And oh, and Nine American, we were trained to learn that one when I went to Germany. We're not American, I'm Canadian, because people love Canada outside of Canada, I guess. And yeah, so prepping, so ready for Wondersmith, need it desperately. I really hope they have a German cover again that I really, really like, and can just continue buying 3 versions of this whole series. In case you somehow haven't seen any of the reviews on my channel about that, it's like Harry Potter-esque, but like homage to Harry Potter, not copy to Harry Potter, and there's prophecies, and it's adorable. It's amazing. I also plan on getting to An Alchemy of Masks and Mirrors by Curtis Craddock. This will be another reread for me, because the second book in the Rising Kingdom series, I want to say it's called like The Labyrinth of Scions and something else. I don't know. Here, I'll put the cover here for a couple seconds. But it's a fantasy, and it's just like, I was so blown away and like blindsided by this. The writing was so cool. The plot was so cool. The characters are so good. The relationships, especially between the main character and her kind of father-esque character, were so good. You can travel in this world through like reflections, so you can use like mirrors and hop around places, which assassins are doing, and there's a bit of a Three Musketeers influence. It's just so good. It's like Three Musketeers, like steampunk in the sky, though. It's really weird and so good, and I've literally never heard enough people talk about this, and I'm just so excited for the sequel. And I finally picked up a copy of the last book in the, I think it's still called Kingdom on Fire series, but I've seen it labeled as Shadow, Bright, and Burning series in different places. But the third book came out. I finally got the third book. So I'm going to reread the first book, A Shadow, Bright, and Burning, this month, and then the other book, A Poison, Dark, and Drowning, next month, and then I will get to the third book. And another series that I feel is like quite underhyped, but it's like kind of Victorian England era with like X-Men, Harry Potter-esque kind of powers, supernatural stuff incorporated. But it's really interesting that this Victorian England, they're aware of each other. There isn't this like mirror where like the magic is being hidden. That everyone knows that this exists, and there's like a border, but you can see into it, and it's a protection shield. And there's just like a lot of hardcore, there was some like kind of hidden sexism in this first book, and like, not that the author is hiding, but like characters being sexist, but it being hidden. Anyways, yeah, rereading it, freaking love the first book, and I'm so excited to jump back into it. I just realized how many rereads I'm doing this month. I also plan on rereading Renegades by Marissa Meyer this month because Arch Enemies is out, and I have it on my Christmas list, so I'm not getting it on open day. I'm hoping someone gets it for me for Christmas. If not, I may just buy it on like Boxing Day. But either way, oh, this series, the slow burning romance, is so freaking good. And like, I kind of hated her for how she ended it, but it was a good ending to a book. And I reread the Lunar Chronicles earlier this year, so I feel like it just makes sense to reread this, and then I've like reread every Marissa Meyer book this year. So yeah, this world with like, there's like renegades who are like the super trooper police in this world and kind of run everything, and then like there's like rebels, but like this girl like is part of the rebel, but like sneakily joins in to be like the super trooper police and has powers, and all those people have powers, and there's like this underworld battle going on between the super troopers and the rebels, and like, oh, it's just so good in the slow burning romance. Oh, it killed me. I also plan on getting back on the Outlander reread train. I'm definitely not going to get the whole series done by the end of the year, but I'm going to continue on anyways, and my goal is to at least get halfway through A Breath of Snow and Ashes. I found that I do really enjoy actually like reading like 50 pages or so of Outlander and then taking a day or 2 days to read another book and then coming back and reading this for a day. I think it really helps, especially with like, it's a long timeline, right? It's not just like over the course of 2 weeks and prophecies happen the way that most fantasies are. This is like a long historical fiction. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So goal is to get halfway through A Breath of Snow and Ashes. If I can finish it this month, great. High five extra to me. But that's my goal, and I legitimately don't remember anything from this. It's just a continuation of the Fiery Cross. I know that the Fiery Cross ends with them still being in America, I think. It's been a while since I've read this book. And Roger and Brianna are much more of the plot and story. So I'm very curious about this and to remember what actually happens in this book. My memory goes very foggy after the first book of Outlander. I feel like it's just because I've read the first book so many freaking times. And last but definitely not least, I am going to get to my reread of The Star-Touched Queen by Roshani Chokshi. I think that's how you say her last name. I heard Rick Riordan say it in an interview, and I've been trying to mimic it, but I don't think I said it right. But I read this book actually in the middle of the summer, and it's like the most calming writing. It was like, it reminded me a lot of like Laini Taylor. Like I was just being like, yeah, you could tell me whatever you want, and I'll just agree with you. I'm so calm right now. But I legitimately got to the end, I was like, I don't know what actually happened in this book. But Roshani Chokshi is coming to the TBR Beyond group in January. January to talk about the Gilded Wolves book, which she has coming out in January as well. So I've read Arusha this year, and I remember most of it. I think I've read it twice now. And then I'm going to reread A Star-Touched Queen, and then I want to read the companion book, The Crowned Wishes, next month. So I will be ready for Gilded Wolves and for that chat, and I will have everything read, and I will be on top of things because I'm trying to be an organized adult. Literally all I remember is like someone gets like trick married into someone who's like death or something like that. So those are all of the books that I plan on reading in the month of November. Let me know in the comment section down below what you are going to read in the month of November, and if you've read any of these, I would love to know your thoughts on them. Make sure to check the description box down below. I will link all of these books to their Goodreads pages, and I will also link all of my social media. If you follow me, I will follow you back.